KTLK AM 1150. This is Mo Kelly in the morning. Your voice. I've been speaking with Tom Nix. You know the name Nix Check Cashing. Maybe you feel positively about it. Maybe you feel negatively. Maybe you have some memories and this speaks to you. Well, I'm speaking to Tom Nix right now. He's the author of Nixland, My Wild Ride in the Inner City Check Cashing Industry. And that's where I want to pick up. Tom, tell me about some of these moments where you had to deal with this criminal element or some of these upstanding members of the community. What sticks out in your mind? What are your more prominent memories?
Well, my most prominent memory is the fact that we had a team of 450 employees that we were like family, and we served about 400,000 customer transactions per month in 55 locations, and we had a tremendous following. And so from my standpoint, Nix Check Cashing was my favorite hobby. I loved the people, my employees, the customers, and, the truth of the matter is they loved us too. We have tremendous loyalty. I mean, we had the highest volume per square foot, or highest volume locations in the entire United States of America because we give great service. And we treated people with respect. Surprisingly enough, we had a number of TV-style robberies that I talk about in the book, but we had very few. We only had about 6 robberies.
Tell me one of them.
40 years.
Tell me one of them, something that you had to deal with as far as this element. I mean, honestly, we're talking about money, and money makes you a target. And unfortunately, when you're a target, someone is going to try to take advantage of you. What did someone try to do on one occasion?
Well, on one occasion, we had somebody drive through the front of one of our locations in North Long Beach with a stolen Ram truck, right through the front window, through the bulletproof barrier, and into the location. They grabbed, at gunpoint, grabbed some money out of the safe, took off in a waiting that took off at a high rate of speed. A Long Beach police officer saw them fleeing the scene, tried to pull them over. The van crashed into a liquor store. They all ran out, and they caught one guy, and another guy was climbing over a fence and tripped and fell and broke his neck and killed himself. And so this is the kind of thing that's, normal folks don't experience these kind of things. So I elaborate on that in the story. I have an entire chapter on the Rodney King riot, where it's just an amazing story about our employees coming to serve the community during this period. We were like the only organization, banks or check cashiers or anything else, that were there to serve our customers and non-customers during that terrible time. And we were asked by the city to open up to try to quell things a little bit, and we were able to get the money and the currency only because we got help from Governor Wilson and the then President Bush. So that's an amazing story. I also had an assassination threat by the Chicago mob, which made life pretty interesting.
Assassination threat?
Well, we opened some stores in Oakland, California, and there was some operators from Chicago there that didn't like it, and they came and told us if we didn't close down, we were going to pay the ultimate price, and where they were going to deal with us Chicago style. We were tough guys too. We weren't going to do that. So we ended up having these people arrested, and then I heard there was a hit put out on me. And so we were going back to New Orleans to the National Check Cashers Association meeting, and I brought 7 people with me, and almost 6 of them wore bulletproof vests. We all had our guns, and it was quite an experience. You'll have to get the detail in the book, though. It was amazing.
And that book, of course, is Nixland, My Wild Ride in the Inner City Check Cashing Industry. Let me ask you this then. How do you go about expanding a business or promoting a business which you know that there is a real threat there? You have to protect yourself, protect your employees. You're always under the threat of robbery. How do you build a business like that?
The first building block of any successful business is to find a need and fill it. And what people have to realize, it doesn't matter how good your product is or your service or your team. If you're not filling a need that somebody needs out there, you're not going to do very well in business. So that was easy for us because it was a tremendous need for check cashing service and the related products and services that we provided. You also have to go about it being very, very passionate and keeping a positive mental attitude about your chance to be successful in the business. I think the fact that you have a criminal element aspect there just makes business a little more challenging than it would in a neighborhood that maybe didn't have that big a challenge in that neighborhood. So we had to create, for example, certain procedures that would get our people into our locations and out of our locations safely. We also had the philosophy that if we could protect the money, we could protect the people in our locations, and we could protect our customer. And so we just had a great reputation in the community for doing the right things, and that also helps the criminal elements. We had people that would say, well, don't bother their people. Don't bother their customers. They do the right things. They support community organizations. They have a food drive. They have a scholarship drive. We had an annual food drive that fed over 1,200 families every year. I mean, it was phenomenal. So, I mean, I think it's a combination of doing the right thing and being part of the community. And for those people, the knuckleheads out there that that doesn't matter, you've got to have security that protects your people and protects your customer.
Eventually, you sold your business for $45 million. A lot of discussion has been had about the financial services industry or industries within the inner city, within certain communities. What do you make of the check cashing industry or maybe even payday lending in communities today?
You need to make a very big distinction between the check cashing industry and the payday loan industry. It's not one industry. The check cashing industry, the vast majority of the customers do not have a bank account. To get a payday loan, you have to have a personal checking account. It's a different customer. But we're often thrown into the same conversation, which isn't really correct. But the people that actually use the business are very well satisfied. The people that don't use the business, don't understand the business, have plenty of money in the bank. They're going like, hey, well, why would you go to a check casher? Just go to your bank. And the fact of the matter is, it's a bank for somebody who doesn't have any money in it. They don't treat you very well. They put a hold on your check. If you get a checking account and you bounce a check, there's a $30 charge for that check. So when you put in all the costs associated with doing business with a bank, then compare that with check cashing. Many times, check cashing comes out even less expensive than a bank. Now, what happens is, as a person moves up the financial ladder and they start to earn more money and have some more assets, then check cashing becomes less desirable, more expensive, because check cashing is a fee. It's a 2% fee on the face of the check. As the check gets bigger, you're paying more for the transaction. So our goal for 20 years was to create a opportunity for the customer to come in and get either alternative financial services that Nix Check Cashing provided or banking services, full over-the-counter banking services. And then our first partner was Union Bank of California. We had 36 of our locations where people could come in, open a bank account, but they had to do the banking at the ATM because we weren't licensed by the banking authorities. We did about 1 million transactions per year at our ATMs, but it wasn't really what I wanted. What I wanted is a one-stop shop where a customer can come in and vote with their feet. They could go over to the over-the-counter, full-service, traditional banking and do banking there, or they could do the alternative financial services that Nix provide. And when Union Bank went to the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, to try to get approval to purchase our company, they were denied that right. So it's very disappointing. But that's why I was excited with Connector Federal Credit Union. It's the old Hughes Aircraft Credit Union. They're doing banking too, and they've now changed the name of Nix Check Cashing to Nix Financial, and they're providing full over-the-counter banking services. Pretty exciting. I have a website called nixland.net, so that's N as in November, NIXLAND.net. And you can also get it on Amazon, and most bookstores will order it for you. It's not on the shelf. But it's a fabulous read. I think the thing about the book that I'm excited about is I've shared in this book 42 years of lessons learned. And I've really helped people all through my career, be and have and do more than they ever thought possible. And I've shared those things in this book. And I really think, in addition to being an interesting story and entertaining and inspirational, it really gives those who may want to take a look at how to have a more happy, healthy, prosperous life and the way to do it. And so that's really was my passion about, writing this book in the first place.
He is Tom Nix. You know the name. If you've ever seen a Nix check cashing in Southern California, and I know you have, you know the name. Tom, thank you for coming on the program and sharing your new book, Nixland, My Wild Ride in the Inner City Check Cashing Industry. We wish you all the best in the future. And it must be nice being able to sell a company for $45 million. You say retirement is tough, but it couldn't be too tough, is it?
Well, it's got its upsides. Thank you so much, Mo. I appreciate you having me on the program.
K-Talk, AM 1150, your voice. I'm Mo Kelly. K-Talk Traffic, coming to you now from the helpful SoCal Honda Traffic Center.